Hello all, welcome to episode 2 of Ice Talks Designers Glory Season 1. I am interior designer Soniya Potdar and today we have the best from the industry. Today we have with us architect Milind Pai from Milind Pai Architecture. We have interior designer Ketan Seth from Goldmine Projects, and we also have architect Prashant Sutaria from Prashant Sutaria Architects. Gentlemen, what a pleasure to have you here on our sets.
Our pleasure too.
Yes, of course. Pleasure to be here on your show and pleasure to be here with our friends.
With your friends, isn't it? We are discussing a very interesting topic today. It is hypertexturality in interior design. It's trending with a lot of surface finishes having very interesting textures and visual appeal. And today we are going to have our take on this particular topic, and where we will be discussing behind the scenes stories, some concept stories, and also some fun that we all have on site. Okay, so when we are talking about hypertexturality as a subject, and it's a trend now, it's about exaggerated meanings, you know, in woodwork or even in the stones and marble. Can you elaborate further for our wonderful audience over here?
Well, I think we all are moving from basics of what we used to see about 3 decades ago when I started my practice. And now we see is all social media based designing which is happening. So I think I see hypertexturality as one of the reasons for not only the aesthetic enhancement for actual reason of seeing it in your real life, but also for capturing in the pictures. This is my take on it. If I look at our country, I feel having too much of texture has its own pitfalls. So we have a lot of dust yet. We are not a developing country. So I look at it from a very different perspective. But yes, as a designer, it always excites me, and I would always prefer to use textures and various finishes, which is, I would say, more judicious. Maybe I belong to a little old school of thinking.
No,
but
I think it is more timeless. I wouldn't say old school. I think it's because we all like to use raw materials in this raw finish form, unfinished I would rather say. And when you're given a chance to use it as a trend, I think we all are just capturing that opportunity and trying to bring out the best. Like, what is your take on it?
No, definitely. See, texture, we always love to use texture. Like, we do a lot of interior projects. So having a great amount of texture on the wall surface always appeals us. Not only to us, to our client also, they love it. Because normally we have seen, like in old days, what we all of us have started our practice more or less at the same time. That time the textures were very limited. Though dust, as he rightly mentioned, but now today the houses and offices have changed the concept of having everything air conditioned. So practically when we talk about having texture inside, as long as it is inside the premises, it is always protected.
What do you think of using wood and stone in this, and how you can exaggerate this pattern, and how much more is being happening today in this?
So actually, like he rightly put, we have come in a full circle, because as students, we used to be fascinated by the architecture of Laurie Baker and Louis Kahn.
Yes.
And brick and concrete was not a new fascination for us at that time also. Further down, we moved to little classical themes, and people were very much awed by Victorian designs. Then suddenly we started seeing clients who say, okay, I just want glass, steel, this kind of minimalistic finishes. And again, we have seen a revival of all those things, but they are reinvented,
reinvented
all over again.
Right
so
phrase.
Those were the real natural, the pioneers in our architecture field had introduced us to at that time. But so many materials have got reinvented now, and they are in different form. Like I can see a very broad classification. One is like when you move towards a biophilic design, like you get actual nature into your interiors and exteriors. So you get
You're bridging the gap. You're
bridging the gap. So you are actually carrying your interiors into the exterior. And so you are making use of all those natural elements in the rawest form possible.
Yes. Any story about this? Kuch yaad hai?
I can share. So I was doing this 5-star hotel which I finished in West Bengal, and they have got very beautiful terracotta work at Bakuda and Bishnupur, world famous. So I told my client that I want, like certain mural, I want certain finishes which are all natural terracotta. तो his first reaction was कि इसको fiberglass में बनाते हैं. I said, you belong to West Bengal. I am trying to do something which is local. What is your problem? He said, बहुत difficult है terracotta maintain करना. Then, we discussed and, we found a solution and finally, we made it in terracotta itself. But this is what Milind said, I fully agree with him. This is the major problem that we face.
Yes.
And I would also like to add that, like when I said in olden times, we were little skeptical of using certain textures and material. But now with the technology available to us, like how granite is reinvented with various finishes today.
Yes.
In between, there was a time when granite was totally no.
Yeah,
Nobody
people were
wanted
not
to touch
using
it.
it also,
It was that time Italian marble.
Italian marble
picture.
was reigning. It was like
And granite is always with the dark shades. We never experience a lighter shade of granite. So now, as he rightly mentioned, substitute is like agglomerated stone.
Yes.
Like Kalinga stone, which classic marble kind of, that kind of stones are always useful now.
Yes.
So they have processed the bamboo and created members out of it, rectangular members.
Yeah.
And they are more durable. So I think we should be, as you rightly said, we should be careful about the what we call ecological impact of those production and the product.
So, if you're looking for natural materials, let's leave the unnatural materials aside for now and let's talk about the natural ones. Okay. So, when we're talking about the natural materials, what is your take on metal?
Metal comes in various finishes nowadays. It's no longer like one brass is like a brass. You have got textured, you have got beaten metal, you have got hairline finish.
The latest one, that water ripple effect and all. I love it. It's amazing.
So even the metal we have started making it look like something like a natural element.
Water effect and all.
It could be like one rusted metal or so many possibilities are there. So again, it all depends on how you are going to combine them with the other materials. What is the theme and what is the particular function of that particular item you are designing.
Copper is trending nowadays?
Something I must tell you here, very funny story. Like Surat is exploring with lot of different metal and different materials. So we were passing from highway we entered in the Surat city. All of a sudden my driver saw one building which was completely rusted. So he got shock of his life. ये तो पूरा building सड़ गया. वो बोला ये सड़ नहीं गया. This is cotton steel. That is what they have used. And he was literally shocked seeing that कि सर इतना building सड़ गया पूरा. So it was quite funny. हाँ इतना जल्दी सड़ गया. नया दिखता है building लेकिन पूरा rusting
rust
लग गया
effect.
उसमें.
Cotton steel.
So cotton steel. So when you are talking about that metal new surface and all that, people are ready to explore with all these materials.
Patina finish.
Patina finish. It's trending now. All this what he's saying, and you can use this finish anywhere, literally, even on your doors, your wardrobes, anywhere.
Even your wash basins.
Even the wash basins, there's no limit to where you can apply these finishes.
Where you least expect it to be, like kind of a rough surface.
Even wall surfaces also, people are ready to use it.
That's what I'm saying. So technology, what Milind was saying, it's not about being artificial. Like it's also trying, because see, there is a limitation to, if everybody wants to put Makrana marble, where is the marble? So this circle started many years ago. In 1920, there was a movement called Bauhaus movement, and then there was minimalism, brutalism, where people used to use, and there was a reason for it, because the resources were less, and you had to build a lot. So the time when there were things were not available, people would build with brick, what he said, or pure concrete. And now we are going back to it as a fashion. See, there is a lot of difference. When you do something out of need, it's more in purest form. And as designer, it always appeals to us. So if you ask my opinion, I would say it's not because of the fashion, but it's because of the purity of that thought or purity of design. That admire it, and then we try to use it. And then yes, of course we do, like recently we did a house in Lonavala. It's a second home. We call it Manchaha house because it's designed around a carpet, which is Manchaha carpet. So there the entire wall finish is this micro concrete, floor, part of it, everything we have used. So that is again not in going to the I would say the honest concrete use. It's like a pseudo concrete use. But still we love it. Everybody loves it. And what I like about it personally is like a very neutral, background it creates. So if you contrast it with brick, it looks beautiful. If you contrast it with the metal, it looks beautiful.
Yes.
If you contrast it with colorful rugs, it looks beautiful.
You think textures and emotions go hand in hand when you're designing a space? Does it affect our emotions?
See, as you rightly mentioned, again adding to that, it is not only about the texture which we should talk. The emotion is not attached only to textures, but even lighting also plays very important role.
Yes.
Again,
His favorite subject because he just did a lighting showroom.
yeah, recently
Yes,
That's why I was
yes.
smiling.
Yes. We did couple of lighting showroom recently for a company called Indo. It's a company from Japan. So
Acha.
we designed the showroom for in Surat and even in Mumbai also. It's an experience center. So how the lighting plays very important role. That is what we have learned from that showroom itself. It can build the mood in a positive way and it can take you in a negative way also. So like lighting also earlier we used to use fluorescent tube light. We were very happy with that.
Yeah.
So those who are in oldies kind of people, like people of our age or age above us, they still prefer white light.
Are
to
you
be
saying,
used.
did you just say you're
We are
old?
very young.
Did you just say that?
No, we are very young.
He's talking for
I'm
himself.
rectifying.
It's on camera.
My statement. I'm taking my statement back.
Okay.
So tube lights say CFL tube.
हाँ.
वो ट्रांसफॉर्म करने के लिए भी it took lot of time, almost 10 years to switch over from tube lights to normal fluorescent tube.
And the way they have, like just talking about textures, for example, they have this glazing light that falls on the texture.
Yeah, the wall washers.
And the washers are so beautiful, but same thing you can see in a normal washer, same thing you can see on a light fitting which is 2 feet away from the wall.
Yeah.
But there is not a single shadow.
Yeah.
And these lights can change the color also. So every textured surface, like it was a stone wall actually, entire stone wall with texture.
Beautifully.
How
yeah,
the
beautifully
texture
lit.
in the night it reflects when it is lit completely.
Yes, yes.
And that is so important. People have started understanding the importance
the
of
importance of,
enhancing the right texture,
yes.
whether it is interior or whether it is
It is
exterior.
What you are saying, I relate it to technology, because with the new technology, the same fitting can be having a various temperatures, which you can control with a app, whether it is your mobile phone or like of other controllers or a remote control, and it can create different ambiences. So I think that's how I look at it. And I also feel, I really love the projector lights. So they can highlight particular areas, very specific size that you can, actually highlight. So let's say you have something which is contrasting to the background, maybe a picture frame or an artwork. So you can only highlight specific
Only
to
that
that
art.
border.
Only that
Correct,
border,
correct.
yeah.
And that it feels as if it's like glowing from within.
You can just highlight an archway
Yeah,
or
exactly.
even an entrance.
So, yeah.
So what do you not like about this trend?
Every trend has to come and go basically.
So this has to go.
So no, the point is,
It's a process.
it's a process,
It's a
it has to
cycle.
follow a cycle.
Yes.
And if you start getting too much of it, then it has to start winning away. So there is nothing about liking or not liking. When it's on the rise, I think you should cash in upon it, make the best use about it. But once you start seeing, okay, now we are overdoing it, and every second person is using the same idea, so it's no longer a trend now.
Yeah.
So trend is something that which you need to set. You just can't keep following for a very long time.
If you see the trend now, what bothers me, honestly, is you ask me what I don't like. What bothers me is the trend where everything is more of opulence than aesthetics. So there is a difference between opulence and aesthetics. I put one marble on this wall, one texture on this wall, another marble on this wall, some metal on this wall. That is opulence. Then everything is beautiful. But is it aesthetically beautiful, or is this, like I would say, is it a creative aesthetics, or it is just, like putting
Together too many
things.
beautiful things together.
Yeah, so I think that's where that trend bothers me.
So practically, as I've mentioned before also, anything in excess is bad. So minimalism is the best thing. The less is more. Practically, for me, honestly speaking, I don't look at what exactly the trend is.
You believe in setting
It
trends.
is all depends upon what client needs.
Yeah.
So I am always ready to adjust my design as per client
client's
choice,
needs.
their comfort and their requirement.
Yes.
So for me, it is design comes second. The first is the feasibility, and comfort is very important. As end of the day, it is my client's money. it is his or her house and office. So if they are not satisfied with something which we have created extraordinary, but it is not giving any comfort, then it is of no use.
So if you have to use this trend towards sustainability, energy saving and looking stylish, so what would be your detail that you would prefer? Like I can start with you, which you can start with, and it can be an architectural detail or a design detail, whatever. What would be yours? Irrespective of
Honestly,
right now what client
all
wants.
these three things are equally important.
Yeah.
And because you can't wish away any one of that basically. So it is a designer's skill to keep reinventing things in this. The word you use balance. So how to use that balance within these three things, and how you use that your skills as a designer to reorient it. So as he said, there is very thin line between trends and what is the specific need of the client.
Anything which your something that you remember, some detail that you did, or what you like, or something somewhere you have seen as a detail, or which you like.
So that is the time when I also decided that there is nothing like a trend. Means I sometimes find it very funny when somebody, this is the color of the year or something like that. So honestly, the way we design, we always have a balance of finished materials and some kind of a textured material that breaks the monotony. That's our style of design.
Yes.
Most of our project, if you've seen, we never follow one plain symmetry. We break the material, we break the colors, and of course in a limited bandwidth, so that the whole balance looks like a homogeneous affair,
Yes.
Because just recently we did one project, and there's a huge opening and the kind of feedbacks what we got. One most important feedback that you got is you have a very excellent flow of the materials and colors, and it doesn't look like something is very drastically out of the place.
Yeah, I think that's a great achievement in itself, to get that kind of a compliment.
Yeah, and I'm very this thing about it, because we have used many different kind of materials. It was stone tiles, metal strips, leather panelings, marble on this thing, lot of wood on the paneling and ceilings, and lot of work in the glass, and so many different things, but nothing stood like out of the box and shrieked out, okay, look at me, I'm different.
So it was all
everything is like a
cohesive.
cohesive.
Yeah.
We cannot have a one particular design concept. We have to keep changing from client to client, from city to city, even from building to building. And again, most important, depending upon end of the day budget.
Okay.
What is client's budget?
Budget is most important. Yes.
तो वो एक डायलॉग है ना, सस्ता सुंदर टिकाऊ. I always say ये तीन का शादी नहीं हो सकता है. This is not possible. सस्ता सुंदर and टिकाऊ.
But my question is, what is the favorite detail still when it comes to using textures? I'll make it more easier. For example, metal jali or a terracotta jali, or what?
I'll use metal jali.
See, this is what I'm looking at. Thank you, sir.
So you have to rephrase the questions for us now.
Yeah, so abhi,
give the option A, B, C.
So I think we should start like a rapid fire now.
Yeah.
So I use lot of texture on marble surface. So I make sure that we create some kind of flowy design or geometrical design on marble.
Now we are talking. See, this is what I wanted.
Because you came very specific with the right questions. Na?
So now that even I look at it, we also use this exotic Brazilian marble as some of the feature walls.
Correct.
In many of our projects, like. And
As a highlighter.
No, not only as a highlighter, we have managed to make it look like a canvas painting also.
Is it?
Yeah, we actually framed it in a gold frame or something like that, and make it look like a big piece of art on the wall.
Okay. Wow, that would be amazing.
And this is a conversation I realized that is one of my favorites.
If I analyze, my design approach, it's more about controlling the 20% controlling the total outcome of the project. So say for example, I'll give an example. I did a project which is an award-winning project in Udaipur. It's a hotel, and the atrium has got traditional jali elements as jharukhas, but there is a glass railing, there is a textured wall, and these jharukhas are randomly placed. So it's not that jharukha, but you see 2, 3, 4 jharukhas here, 2, 3, 4 here, 2, 3, 4 here. So those jharukhas actually control the entire look. If I remove those jharukhas, then it becomes a conventional
very
plain.
Yeah.
So my style or details is that I will use only 20% variation, but 80% will be relatively a background. So maybe a textured wall, or maybe some particular single. So on the opulence side, this was on a minimalism because maintenance, cost. I did a private palace designed, and the atrium was totally like 30 feet tall, 3,000 square feet tall. Everywhere was marble on the wall. Yeah, but that was all one single color and little bit of gold. So that contrast creates the interest.
Yes.
So that is my style, like, so I would use even expensive material, but I would use it to create a background.
Yeah.
So travertine was used, beige travertine, but it was used as a background and not as a, like a highlighting kind of a thing. So everywhere you see the same color and suddenly you see gold.
You see gold.
So you see only gold.
Yeah.
So it's a very subtle.
Subtle contrast.
Subtle. So that's what my style
That
is.
is a highlighter kind of thing.
Yeah, that's my style,
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm going to have a little bit of rapid fire session now. Okay, so are we ready?
Okay.
All right. So, if you are thinking about using textures, now this is exclusively for what you're designing for yourself. Okay. How likely you are to use metal or fabric?
So I would use fabric.
Fabric, why?
Because I think fabric has got more personalized, soft feel to it, which I like. Metal appears little more bold and harsh to me.
And it's cold to touch also.
Yeah, it doesn't give me that warmth and personalized touch.
Okay. What about you, metal or
Rapid
fabric?
fire, no explanation. I like both the things.
Fantastic, fantastic. What about you?
In proportion, more fabric and less metal.
Okay,
Yes.
all right. Now, wallpaper or texture paint?
Wallpaper.
What about you?
Wallpaper, anytime.
Texture paint.
All right. Stone or tile?
Stone.
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 Stone, hands down. Still, we have to go to tiles.
See, it again all depends upon the budget.
Budget.
It's boiling down to budget only.
Ah,
Poor
yeah,
man's
yeah.
stone it is.
Now, if you have to choose between carpet and wood,
Wood.
I use both carpet and wood. So I don't restrict myself with any particular material. So carpet plays its own role, wood plays its own role.
Yeah.
So I use both the things.
So I would say that carpet on a smaller area against a contrast of a wood or a stone or
yeah,
something.
completely what I would love to do too. What is the most eco-friendly texture that you would use?
Give option A, B, C, D. At least it will become easy for us to answer
But
on it.
you add eco-friendly paints also in that category?
Yeah, we can add.
Yeah, because
that is
see,
Micro
yeah,
cement.
you get lot of
Most
now-
environment friendly.
Yeah.
low VOC and other things which
Yes.
are available
Low
now.
VOC
So
paints are
we
there,
try to use that. But if you go to see eco-friendly, then also comes to my mind is natural products which are like limestones and other things
Yes,
we can
yes,
create some
yes.
texture.
I think they create great details.
Yes.
Great. They are beautiful to look at.
Yeah.
When you
Even
use
things
those.
like we have used one house we have done in Lonavala, but the entire house has got Kota stone,
See.
mirror polished Kota stone.
Wow.
Looks so beautiful.
That
Kota
would-
looks very elegant.
very
Even bathroom looks so beautiful
Kota
with the
even-
Kota.
Especially if you can
also-
get it in one
Jaisalmer
quarry.
also looks
Jaisalmer
very
so
nice.
Single
Yes,
color without
yes.
any variation.
Yeah, of course.
Looks
See that
You pay a
export
little
quality-
extra for it.
Export quality Kota is wonderful.
Yes. So your most eco-friendly material would be stone.
Stone,
Sandstone. And what about you?
So we use a lot of eco-friendly Jotun
Paint.
Jotun
paint which got
paints,
phenoplastic
yes.
gold, which is like a embossed.
Yes.
And many of our projects, when you use white, we just love that paint.
Yes.
That's one of our favorite paints.
Yes.
And then there's Limoplast, something like a micro cement,
yes.
which
yes.
also is a textured surface, which is you can
What are you most likely to use as an accent in a textured finish, to bring out any texture?
Even as I said, I use extensively wallpaper and curtains. So even that also enhance the complete beauty of the house. Even wallpaper for the office also looks very elegant.
Yeah, yeah.
And rugs, some piece of rugs, all that.
No. Let me reframe it for you. You're already using a wallpaper.
Yes.
It's a backdrop, and what are you going to do? Use to
Light
Yes.
plays very
See,
important
see.
role.
Now I know it.
Yes.
I know it is light.
I prefer, this Italian stucco finish and then a painting on top of it. That's
Yes.
my favorite.
And what about you?
So we always work on one accent wall, where we always try to experiment with new textured materials. So a lot of materials are available in 8x4 format also, and if you use it really intelligently, it doesn't look like artificial material. If you encase it in a proper framework or something like that. So that kind of highlights we create, and balance is all about curtains and what he said. I love to have paintings on some of the. I don't want to fill up all my walls.
So, what would be your takeaway message about textures and how to use them to our most lovely audience here?
Well, I would say keep inventing, keep talking, keep watching, and keep discussing with your friends. I think that's the best way to move forward in life.
For me, keep experimenting also. It is very essential because you come across with so many different material every day in the market. So we can't remain stuck to any particular texture. So we have to keep experimenting with the different kind of material with different texture on it.
Yes, and what about you?
Yeah, so I think I agree with both of them. Plus, I think it's also very essential to have a huge bandwidth in your material selection, because there are so many things available in the market, and if you are falling short of exploring them or not reaching the right thing at the right time, you are going to fall somewhere short in reinventing and experimenting with your stuff. So as a designer, we should keep our eyes open and try to reach as many different textures or materials in the that are available to us. Luckily, in this time in
today's time, yes.
What we are practicing. So that is going to be the USP of our designs basically.
Yes, and experiment and create something new.
Yeah, so you can actually pick up one texture and make a whole design as a basic theme or your format.
Yeah.
So these materials are so powerful. You can actually visualize the entire room around a single material. I think that's where we should.
Yes, I think as designers we are all on the same page. Yes.
And there is one best solution. If you want to know about all these textures and other things, you must visit the Ice Show.
Oh yes,
Good one.
It's a
Yes,
one
absolutely.
under one roof.
One-stop
You
solution.
will see
All the-
every different kind of
Yes,
textures and flooring. I mean,
Yes.
finished materials.
Yes,
So textures,
yes.
materials,
Absolutely.
everything.
It's a message to the audience.
icexpo is a must visit, and of course watching Ice Talk Show with
Yes.
such lovely gentlemen on board. So the takeaway message I think from all of us here is very clearly is be bold, experiment. Textures are wonderful and they are timelessly charming, and you must incorporate them in all your spaces. So thank you all for watching and stay tuned for the next episode.